G'day, friends and fans. Welcome to Writing Corner. I'm your host, the author, David Applegate, author of the book, The Boyhood of Cade, book one of the Empire of Elves. And of course, today we're talking about faction building. Now, we're looking at the multi-part series, and in part 6, we're talking about the faction's reputation. Now, before I continue, I'd like to point out that this channel is sponsored by you, the viewing public. So please, buy me a coffee, links in the description below, and of course, you can buy merch, and of course, my books. All the links will be in the description below. Stay tuned. After the show, sorry, we're looking at faction building. Now, with faction building, it's like world building. You only want to record what matters to your story, although you can do if you tend a multi-part series, you're probably best off actually doing as much as you can, because you don't want to be winging it. You don't want to be creating stuff on the fly. So what is the reputation of the faction? Well, each faction has an echo. This echo, whether it be universe or city, or how far and wide they carve their image. Now, this is not how they perceive themselves. This is how others perceive them. So what kind of reputation does a faction have with other factions, with the public, with the government, religions, etc. of the day? What actions caused this reputation? Now, what about those within the faction? What do they think about their reputation? And what do they care whether or not part of this is what the faction thinks about outsiders and what the outsiders think of the faction. But what about the rivals? Now, remember, you may have two carpenters guilds. That actually has occurred throughout history. Actually, in England, there used to be hundreds of little guilds until the Royal Society decided that they would merge all the guilds under them into them, and those became the forerunners of the unions. Oh no, you thought Karl Marx invented unions. Sorry, they were and always been the establishment, and still are. And then, of course, that's all part of reputation, isn't it? What actions have they done? What is the reality? What is the fiction? What is the perception, I suppose, more likely? But remember, you're writing your story your way. Okay. I know a lot of people will tell you you write the story for the audience. But given how fickle the audience is, remember, there are millions of books. So there's no way you are going to identify what the audience wants. Because remember, look at let's take the MCU. Look at Iron Man. 20 years ago, phenomenal movie. Today, low rated, hardly watched. MCU as a whole, down 39%. It's lost value. It has lost merch value. There are entire runs that have gone unsold. Hasbro and others, they've had to cut production. They're still selling Christmas toys for Harry Potter and the MC, and they're not selling all these. So just look at that and go, what sold in the past may not sell in the future. And remember, how many Harry Potter clones are there now? And have any of them done well? Any of the girls' school series, the Paragirl was it Peregrine or Peregrine? What about the Hunger Games? Look at the hell that's dropped off. I think when you write, all these people who say, oh, they write for the audience. No, well, they might have a audience they write for, but the broader audience, no. We have seen in a traditional, we've seen a shift in tradition where people used to write for themselves to discuss ideas and put them out there. Now it's trend chasing. The problem is trends are fickle, and there's no way to measure the true audience. I'll give you an example. The Batman movie. It trended well. It tested high. It was mediocre at best in its performance, though the actual story was decent and had great action at the end. But it wasn't the box office success they hoped for. And they replicated this with the Batwoman, and that failed hard. But test audience scores in the early phase of the movie were high. It was the action at the end where it was let down, and because they couldn't afford a third reshoot, they had to scrap the entire project. It's been in development too long, and parent companies have only bought these low-performing studios like Warner Brothers to pump their value because they have initial excitement in a project, but the second, third, and fourth, or the fourth, or maybe sometimes the 10th movie in that series, and remember, you go back and look at the criticism of Harry Potter. After the first 4 movies, more and more people were saying, no, this is garbage. But the problem is people kept going because they said, oh, no, it gets better. It's just a slow burn story. It gets better. And by the end of it, that's why, you went downhill and then a big spike because it was the last one. You look at everything else she's produced. You look at, you can't chase the trends. They keep telling you, oh, magic's going to sell well, or this going to sell well, or diversity sells well. And the problem is, those who create genuine, diverse stories with interesting characters, because they don't fit the narrative of political overlords, the gatekeepers. See, they're not trying to sell books on what you write. They're trying to sell you, and that's why you see lists about the top Black authors or the top women authors. Never real minorities like me. Because I am not see, this is the problem. Because they are trying to increase their audience. They think they can sell out white people and embrace Black people. But stories in India that sell to India does not sell in China, Japan, or sorry, Japan's too small. I'm trying, but Africa, and it's likewise. That's why they want to spread people around to dilute culture so that they can sell these over homogenized products to the entire world. The homogeny is not the United States. The United States is a victim of homogeny. It's the globalists who are inflicting their homogeny on the West. You don't see homogeny in Africa. You don't see homogeny in India. You don't see it anywhere else. It's been inflicted on us by China and the WEF and other organizations. And so the over-politicization is making it hard to write good stories. So it's very important to craft for yourself, to craft the tale you want to tell. Do not chase trends. Do not chase the almighty dollar. Do not bow to the to the development editors and all these other experts who will charge you thousands of dollars claiming that they will get you a bestseller, where in the past these bestsellers have been bought and paid for, because a bestseller is merely 10,000, and you're paying for it by paying exorbitant rates to these publishers. You're buying success and you get nothing in return. Every now and again, you might get a Martin who gets $15 million, but how long has he been a Hollywood scriptwriter? That was his retirement. That was his gift from Hollywood. You make us money and we'll give you a little taste. Well, yeah, J.K. Rowling got $1 billion on a $100 million book deal. Where is Bloomsbury today? Are they broke? Where's Warner Brothers? Broke. Where's the Harry Potter franchise? Broke. So, J.K. Rowling, what is she? She's a controversial figure who's spent half a fortune on activism, and she's retreated to, I think she's sold off one of her estates or whatever for a big fortune or something. So many stories about her. But yeah, her net worth is still big. But remember, that's subjective value. She can't cash it in. She's a prisoner of whatever money she's got and whatever her properties bring in. But remember, she used to live in a big, swanky London estate. Now she's up in northern Scotland. So you do the maths. These people aren't as rich as you think they are. That's why wealth can't be taxed. But who am I? I'm not a bestseller, but I could be. And so could you. So could most writers. If it wasn't for the one-sided gatekeeping and the fact that people buy, the majority of people buy whatever the biggest, flashiest splash campaign. Not always works, I believe. I don't have the statistics, but the minority of advertising campaigns actually work. Otherwise, everybody's doing it right. Remember, for every 1,000 successful authors, there's 1,000,000 failures. But I don't want to consider the 1,000,000 to be the failure. We can't succeed, but should not be considered failures. And rather than measure our financial success, let's look at our literary success, shall we? And build the stories we want to tell, and be damned the politics, be damned the tropes and trends. Because, ultimately, nobody's going to remember the conformist who wrote the second or third knockoff Harry Potter novel, or the AI generated yachting adventure. None of those are going to be remembered. They may sell flash in the pan, 50 Shades of Grey. Nobody's going to remember that in 20 years, except it's garbage. And what? She's burnt through all her money. All these people burn through their money. They're all failures in the end, because they have their one success and they burn through it. Never produced everything note since. I know you put your heart and soul into it because you're watching me, rather than spending $3,200 on J.K. Rowling or whatever, or Patterson or all these other big writers. Remember, they got their start through the establishment, and they're making their money selling you on the very things you can learn for relatively free. I mean, it still costs you money to watch. Whether or not you pay me or not is irrelevant. It still costs you time and money. But at least you're not putting money into the hands of multimillionaires who are telling you that they hit it lucky. Well, they're not. They're they're telling you that they're great and studied writing and did all these courses, and no, they got lucky, because for every great mystery writer who sold 100 million copies over 50 years, they're all, there's only one Agatha Christie, and a handful of others have sold less. And over time, you look at all the big franchises of anime, for instance, they're all well established. And if you're not well established, they don't want to know you. All they want from you is for you to pay them, this is the publishers, to publish their works. That's not how it should work. If they're making money off us, they should be paying us. But they're not. Remember, 80% of writers now are women. And so, publishing contracts, 80% of publishing contracts last year went to women. How's that equity and justice and equality? So, again, I urge people not to follow the trends, to write what they want, because ultimately your fan base are not fans of the genre. They're fans of your writing. If they were just fans of the genre, they'd be buying AI slop. And whether or not it's actually produced by Jet Computer or not, if it's produced by the 2020 top 20, it's slop. And unfortunately, unfortunately, no matter how good you are, you're not going to knock the establishment off its perch so quickly or so easily, because there's hundreds of thousands trying. And remember, it's not it's how you make them feel. Okay, so write what you want, because that comes through in your writing and it makes your audience feel. If you're writing J.K. Rowling level slop, yeah, because she was writing for children, she was writing slop for kids. She made people feel good by making them think that being a wizard was equal to being gay. And after using the gay community, she abandoned them for the TERF community, because they were her peers who brought their children to her book launches, because she was part of a private school network, and so all these middle-class private school alumni brought their children. That's why they had all these costumes ready, and they were all big events, and they lavished tea pies and that. Remember, she's a multimillionaire, entertaining multimillionaires, and they bought a book because it cost them virtually nothing to do it. Whereas you and I purchasing an expensive big book pack, well, we're not going to have that. We're not going to gather around to buy 1 million books to make a fellow activist rich. That's the thing, isn't it? So let's not kid ourselves that we're all going to make it, but some of us are and some of us aren't. But there's no predictability. And remember, most of those who make it are going to lose everything, because they can't handle success, because they waste their money chasing success. They think their one success will turn into more successes. J.K. Rowling was fired because she lost Warner Brothers more money than she made. She's lost them millions of dollars. The J.K. Rowling, that's why she's been kicked off her own reboot project. They're trying to recoup the money off Harry Potter. Don't believe the lies, okay? Most of these big studios, they make their money selling merch. These movies are not making money. The days of big movie projects and big profits off movie projects are gone. There's just too many variables now and too many people. They've exhausted the audience with oversaturation. They brought out Harry Potter too often and too quickly, and they oversaturated the market with merch, and now it's all sitting on the shelves unsold. Huge stockpiles, I used to think, growing up, I used to be led to believe that seeing your book in a bookstore all these shelves and all these things. That was the highest success. Then I found out the majority of those so-called multi-millionaire deals. Yeah, Joan Collins sell what, 20 million books, but that's counted to bookstores. But those were, you go around. The reason why they sold so many is because they're the cheapest, nastiest, and bookstores, they don't want quality, they want quantity, and quantity of sales. They want to buy a book for $1 and sell it for 10. But the authors are making pittance. They don't make royalties. It's the royalties go to all the companies. That's why there's hardly any new book deals, and those only go to a few, and most of those go to women. Why? Because they're still trying to get their money back off J.K. Rowling and all these other, Joan Collins, Patterson, all these others. They're trying to get their money back. That's why so many publishers go broke and have gone broke. But you just don't hear about it. So please, don't be lured into paying development editors, publishers. Don't be lured into buying huge, expensive book courses. You're going to be bombarded with advertising as a writer to marketing, for marketers and marketing deals. And it's very hard to know how to market a book. But trust me, if Amazon and a few others, they are good at marketing themselves, very good at marketing other people's products. They're only into saturation marketing. That's all, the only success there is. So just keep grinding away and building your audience. And that should be, in the end, doesn't matter how much money you made, if I know the journey feels great and may look, the last grass may be green on the other side, but if you're chasing success and it's sending you broke, you better rethink your lifestyle. Don't chase the trends, buck the trends, and let's go back to books that matter rather than pulp fiction that ultimately people will forget. Not even 5 minutes after they put it down. And if you don't make the audience love you, they're not going to buy another book again off you, or even another book. And look at Harry Potter. Look how many Harry Potter fans are still clinging to Harry Potter. They don't buy anything new. So don't care what they think, because they're not there for you. They don't want you. They want the Harry Potter feeling. They want the experience. So build your own audience. Build your own success. And don't value success of others as the benchmark for your success. Because ultimately, your best success is the family around you. So let's not make let's not make the rich richer. Let's make ourselves more successful, if that makes sense to you. So please like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel if you can. Buy coffee mugs and other items in my Etsy store. Link in the description below. 10% off. Use the discount code in the description below. And of course, you can become a patron of my writing and get early access to my writing. I also have RPG material, and of course, my books are in my link tree in the description below. All the links in the description below. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.